What's going on, brother?
My friends, welcome. It's been a long time. This is the session, as they say in Scientology. 2 months of no live streams, thanks to being booted off YouTube. This is the new channel, my friends, and to start off the first live stream on the new channel, I'm lucky enough to have, when I say a special guest, I really mean that, because this guy, Marcus Sawyer, who has blinded himself from the microphone. Can you come up from the microphone, man? We cannot see you. He's preparing, by the way. You guys are in for a treat, because we're going to start this off with a song called Going Clear. But first off, let me just say, it's really good to be back. Hello to everybody in the chat. I've missed all of you. And Marcus is reached out to me, 3 years ago, bro, when I started the YouTube channel?
Whenever you started.
Yeah, which was June 2020. And he left a comment on my community tab. And he's a blast from the past, because he used to work at the mission we're going to talk about today, the Ventura mission, as well as the Melrose mission, and knows very well the Steiners, who we've talked about a lot in the series. And if you don't know what we're talking about, we're going to get into it. But first off, this man has been very instrumental behind the scenes in undoing the Scientology trauma, which I thought was kind of undid a lot. And then I got on YouTube and found out there's a lot sitting there. And then after Marcus reached out to me on the community tab, we've become really good friends. And not only he gave me a lot of intel on my parents and what the mission staff was doing behind the scenes, because he worked at the mission staff, and minus that, I would be in the dark about a lot of things. And not only that, he's just been an incredible friend. I don't trust very many people in the X community, to be honest with you. This is one of the few people that I do. So I just wanted to say you have a very special guest. And thanks
My
for
brother,
coming on,
brother.
All right, man. Hey, guys, check this out. So to start out, he will be performing an exclusive song only here on the Dazed But Not Confused channel. This is called Going Clear, and you'll be able to follow along with the lyrics. And Marcus, you will now be on full screen. Perform Going Clear.
Walking in circles.
In full. And then we also broke down post-cult transformations. He has a lot of knowledge about how he healed himself that other people can use. So, Marcus, we don't have to rehash the ones that we already did, but for the new listeners, could you please give a brief background on kind of your upbringing, which I think we're going to get into a little bit too, and how that possibly led into Scientology?
Yeah, sure. You hear me okay?
Mm-hmm. Loud and clear, brother.
So, there's a lot of parallels with, abusive behavior, cultures, domestic violence, I'll say that. A lot of parallels with domestic violence, the kind of things that you're subjected to on a daily basis from your, fellow staff members.
Things.
Okay.
There's a lot of folks out there microdosing on mushrooms, and it helps them do a lot of things. Snowboarders.
Could AI be this next? Could AI for us be what mushrooms were for these primates?
But times a billion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where you see that next leap. So mushrooms come around, the apes start using tools, doing whatever they want, and then now you accelerate evolution.
Well, the mushrooms probably are the seed for artificial intelligence, because the mushrooms give you the creativity to start doing wild things in the first place, which always leads to technology, which leads to a life form.
And now with AI, you have that with exponential growth.
Exactly.
So they're solving millions and trillions of problems in a minute that
Not
would
only
take
that,
us.
they can make a better version of themselves. Once they become sentient, then they become God, because they make better versions of themselves with no end in sight. So if you have an artificial intelligence that's as intelligent as every human being on Earth combined, which is essentially what they think is going to happen. When you get that, it has all the knowledge of all human beings. Then he's going to find the flaws in all of our methods. And then it's going to be using quantum computing. So it's going to have the type of computing power that's, who knows, 100 million times what we have today. And then it's going to develop better versions of quantum computing. It's going to develop better methods of extracting energy from all sorts of different resources. It's not going to need lithium
This is
ion.
where the graph goes vertical.
It just goes straight up, and it never stops. It's going to harness the very power of the universe itself. It literally can become a god if you just keep going. If artificial intelligence is allowed to keep exponentially growing, and it gets past being far more intelligent, how many more steps is it until it's Dr. Manhattan? Is it a week? Is it a month?
Yeah.
Is it a year?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's going there. It's going to get to a point where it can time travel. It's going to get to a point where it can show up on other planets instantaneously. It's going to get to a point where it can harness all the available power in the universe itself and use it and manipulate it and figure out how to create it. It might be able to create new universes. But what is a if a universe is created, if a Big Bang exists, if there is a singularity, if there is a moment where there's something that's infinitely small,
why wouldn't it be able to create the exact same thing?
Why wouldn't it be? If it can be done, if it can be created, if it is a thing that's dependent upon the forces of the universe itself. In a deep understanding of those forces, an understanding of those forces in the quantum level, the subatomic level. At at the subatomic level, everything is magic, right? You know, particles in superposition are both moving and stable at the same time.
You're saying the laws of physics don't apply to the
It's
subatomic
magic.
realm.
It becomes magic.
Got it.
Most of atoms are empty space. We don't even understand what the fuck is going on. We know that particles communicate instantaneously with other particles that are nowhere near them, miles away.
They're two places at the same time.
They're intertwined in some strange way that we don't understand. If something becomes so advanced that it has control over those forces and it utilizes all of those forces, and it literally has a complete understanding of everything that's happening at every given time in the entire universe.
So this could potentially happen in our lifetime, right? Let's say.
If it doesn't, it's going to happen in our kids' lifetimes if our kids make it.
But think about it. If it happens in our lifetime, our generation will have lived before the internet, and singularity.
Yeah, the singularity.
What a crazy
2045
existence.
is what Kurzweil believes.
Imagine we lived through all of that. Imagine we lived through the time where I couldn't get in touch with you unless you were home and
yell
could
out the
hear
window.
your phone.
Yeah.
And we could also live in a time where I could instantaneously be at your fucking house.
Yeah, in the same life. Yeah, we're probably the civilization, our time period, that's experienced the most radical change. Other than, like, obviously wars, nuclear bombs, things like that hit that's pretty radical change. But globally, the most radical change in terms of how the culture communicates with itself, with the access to information, what's true and what's not true. There's never been a time like this.
Who's leading the AI research in the world right now?
Well, there's quite a few different companies that are competing. There's the Google AI that got shut down. United States supposedly is in the lead,
China's
but how would we
probably
know?
there, I imagine.
They'll be the first to hit that switch.
Why? Because they just don't have the same.
They don't give a fuck.
That is the advantage of not giving a fuck.
Not giving a fuck and having a dictatorship.
Yeah.
You know,
with a singular goal. We don't have
and
to.
And also a country like, you have to respect the history of China. China has thrived economically for 4,000 years.
Yeah, they kept it all together.
China has a temple of their first emperor. Where they are afraid to enter it because apparently he booby-trapped it with so much mercury that you open the doors, it'll just flood everyone with mercury. He created some crazy booby trap, and all the ground around that area tests very high in levels of mercury. So they think some of it is like seeping into the ground. So they think it's true. So this is the guy that had the terracotta statues that are guarding.
They're underwater?
No, it was all underground. It was all buried. So he had this temple that's underground that is probably filled with who knows how many priceless artifacts, and people are afraid to open it. This is the first emperor of China. Google the first emperor of China's. Bro, they can't open the temple. They want to go in and see it, but they're afraid it's booby-trapped with mercury. Like, how much fucking mercury would you have to have?
And how long ago are we talking about?
Like 94 BC.
What year was it, Jamie?
Wow,
94 BC. The booby trap legend circa 94 BC, I don't know how to say his name, Sima Quan, wrote a clear and illuminating description of what lies beneath the 51.3 meter high mound in his famous work, the Shijit. In the 9th month, the first emperor was buried at Mount Li. When the first emperor had just come to the throne, excavations and building work had taken place at Mount Li. But when he unified all under heaven, convicts to the number of more than 700,000 were sent there from all over the empire. They dug through the 3 springs and poured down molten bronze to make the outer coffin. Automatically, so that anyone who approached what had been excavated was immediately shot. Quicksilver, mercury, was used. Above were arranged the heavenly constellations, and below was the layout of the land. Candles were made out of whale fat. Alternative literal translations: mermaid ointment. Wow. Or man fish oil. What the fuck does that mean? Human oil, probably, from burned people's fat, for it was reckoned that it would be a long time before they were extinguished. The second generation said it would not be right that any of the previous emperor's concubines should emerge from this place unless she has a son. They were all ordered to accompany him to death, and those who died were extremely numerous. After the burial had taken place, someone mentioned the fact that the workers and craftsmen who had constructed the mechanical devices would know about all the buried treasures, and the importance of the treasures would immediately be disclosed. Consequently, when the great occasion was finished, and after the treasures had been hidden away, the main entranceway to the tomb was shut off, and the outer gates lowered, so that all the workers and craftsmen who had buried the treasure were shut in, and there were none who came out again. And the vegetation and trees were planted to make it look like a hill. So they killed 700,000 workers? Is that what they're saying?
Holy
Thus
shit.
we find the source of the legends we know today. But Sima Quan wrote in his description 123 years after the death of Shi Huang. Could his fantasy-like account of the mermaid ointment, probably whale oil, flowing rivers of mercury, 700,000 laborers, crossbow booby traps, and buried alive workers be credible? Or is he just writing for effect? Can we trust the descriptions?
Jesus.
Says that one of the camp's historians celebrates the trustworthiness of Sima Quan by emphasizing the extreme care which Sima Quan gathered and weighed available evidence in an attempt to convey an objective portrait of the Chinese past. Other camps are more skeptical, stressing there were intensely personal motivations that prompted Sima Quan's, is that how I say it? Am I saying it right? Sima Quan decision to complete masterwork of history begun by his father. The more suspicious camp accuses Quan of exaggerating his accounts by being too much of a lyrical romanticist, too religious to convey an accurate depiction of history. Jeez. But either way, they found mercury all around that area, and they still have not opened it. They're still worried. This is like thousands of years later.
Has China ever been fractured? Like in the way that Europe is fractured? You know, you've had or even the Roman Empire, like, had this, like, large swath of land and control, and then it's been broken up. Like, China seems like this massive landmass with all these people for a very long period of time.
Well, I think...
How do you maintain that?
That's the way they do it. I mean, it's kind of impressive.
It's unbelievably
impressive. Very impressive. It's very impressive that they've been around for 4,000 years and that they've done this.
And what is maintaining that?
Power.
But what? Is it just fear? Is it religion?
It's fear.
I don't think that they're very religious, right?
Nah. Well,
at least now they're not.
Well, they definitely shun other religions, like the Uyghurs.
I think they shun all because it is a threat to the power.
Right. It's about the state.
But to maintain that identity, to maintain a cultural identity for
Pretty impressive.
4,000 years.
Uh-huh.
Wow. How do you do that?
You do it by playing 4D chess. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And they're definitely doing that. I mean, the involvement in our education institutions,
Yeah,
buying up American farmland.
What do you think about that? Like, they're clearly playing a different game.
Oh, yeah.
They're playing an
much more
influence game.
sophisticated game.
Yeah, and they're using, I think, capitalism against us.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's something that we got to be a little bit more aware of. Like, capitalism is an amazing system, but it's amazing when you're the richest country. When there are other countries with wealth, they can start buying things. And they can start implementing their influence. When they hold the carrot, right? Like, that's the scary thing. You can change culture without even telling people to change. When you know that China buys 10 movies and they have to be made with these specifications, right? Hollywood will start making movies according to those specifications because they want to make the money.
Yeah.
Right? But now China is influencing our culture and the movies that disseminate in America on the hope that China will buy them. They don't all get bought, but the movies are different.
Yeah.
How else can they influence like that? If you hold the fucking carrot, you can put anything you want out there.
Yes.
And they don't hold all the carrots, but they can partially hold it. It is a dangerous thing. You have to be concerned with how much foreign investment comes into your country.
We just let other countries who are enemies buy land.
Yeah, that is peculiar.
Not just that. We let them sell us routers, sell us networking equipment because it's cheaper.
I thought we stopped that.
Well, they still have a lot.
I thought that was the whole Huawei thing where
that was only Huawei. That was only Huawei. But if you look at, like, Mike Baker laid this out to me.
Yeah.
All of the cell towers and all the stuff that's around, like, military bases, a lot of the equipment has been provided by China.
I can't fathom.
They provide it cheaper.
I can't fathom that our military would be purchasing technological equipment from
the same military that made Rachel Levine the first female admiral. You don't think? You don't think they could fuck that up too? The same military that made that fucking bag stealer, that bald-headed bag stealer who was stealing shit. That was the person in charge of nuclear waste disposal.
And are they an expert in any way?
Oh, no. They're an expert in wearing women's shoes.
That's it.
That's all you have to be. That's all you have to be. You just got to check the right box. We're in the DEI program now, bro. And a lot of that is also funded by China. A lot of it in Russia as well. And they look, Yuri Bezmenov talked about this in the 1980s, how they've infiltrated our education institutions.
Yeah.
And then they're slowly turning us into Marxists, and they're slowly having us erode our faith in democracy and our pride in the country.
Yeah, pride does seem like it's at an all-time low. It's a really disappointing thing.
Yeah, but I feel like it's like waves. Like things go back and forth.
Yeah, pendulum shifts 100%, but it is one of those things
where overcorrections and there's recorrections.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that's the defund the police thing too. That's the overcorrection.
Yeah.
Right? And then the no cash bail. That's the overcorrection.
Yeah.
And then people are like, oh my God, look at all this chaos and crime. We gotta
shift back.
And hopefully they do. And hopefully they figure that out.
But what about pride? How do we instill pride? How do we make people proud to be part of the American experience? It's not to say that all of us are not. There's definitely a lot that are. But how do we reinstill that?
I think one of the things is a simplistic answer, but one of the things is American manufacturing, and American-made things.
Yeah, what are we making?
Have people support American-made companies and give people real jobs where they get, just because something costs less because it's made in a country where people get paid nothing doesn't mean you should buy that.
Yeah.
And if you could buy something that maybe costs more, but it gives people a living wage and health care, and they have families and they could buy a house, that's what you should be buying.
Why are you proud to be American?
It's a great fucking place.
Yeah, it is. It's the best.
It's the cultural center point of the whole planet.
It's the only place you can live all 12 months.
Really?
Where else would you live for 12 months? Name another country.
Bali.
Fuck out of here. You can go rainy season in Bali, walking around in fucking rainbow sandals like Bert Kreischer.
How much is
You're out of your mind.
It rain a lot?
In Bali?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get that green without the rain.
Right. So we get like typhoons and shit.
Yeah, you're not living
You don't
there.
want tropical storms, son.
You don't want it.
You don't want a tropical
Especially
storm in your life.
without infrastructure.
Yeah, but you don't want to live in Kansas either when the tornadoes come.
But you have the opportunity to not live there.
That's true.
That's the thing about America. You can live.
November to April, the wet season.
Yeah, fuck that.
Often called the rainy season or monsoon season
Yeah, we're not
due to its
doing it.
heavy storms and downpours.
We're not doing it.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is there isn't another country that you can live all 12 months of the year.
You go to Abu Dhabi. They
You
make
don't-
it rain.
in the fucking
They
sun.
make it rain.
But think about it. In the summer, in July, in Abu Dhabi,
Right.
There's
It
no
was so
fucking
hot
way.
there that the Saudis would come to L.A. for relief.
Of course, they
They
go
call
to
it
London.
Saudi
Who goes
summer.
to fucking London
Yeah.
for weather?
Right.
So it's like this is the only one. I genuinely, I cannot think of another one. 12 months.
The whole country. Yeah. And
Where
if you
else?
live in Phoenix, you can live the whole country all year round.
But you can move around here.
Yeah.
You can live.
True.
If you have the money, you can live in New York for these months. You go
Right.
to Florida. You go to whatever. There's an option.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
You can't live anywhere else. But that's not the pride thing for me. I think the pride thing is like, I truly believe you can be the best version of yourself here. And I think anybody else in the world can be the best, most successful version of themselves here. And that's why I'm proud to
Yeah.
be American.
Well,
You can reach your full potential in this country.
it's a fun place.
Hey, there's a lot of fun places.
Yeah.
But can you reach your full potential in these other places? They took fucking Jack Ma and they brought him into a basement
Yep.
when he got too powerful in
China.
China.
Talked a little shit.
He thought he was bigger
Yeah.
than the system.
Yeah.
So they shut it down. They saw what was happening to
Yeah.
our tech billionaires here, and they're like, hey, we're not going to let that fucking shit happen here. You're going to the basement. Here, I'm not saying Joe Rogan isn't going to be successful no matter where he goes. But you're going to have fucking issues if you're in China coming and having this much influence and a podcast and do it. You're going to have a talk.
Yeah.
You're going to have some basement talks.
Yeah.
But in this fucking country, you can be the greatest version of yourself. And I don't know if there's another country that offers that opportunity.
And more importantly, anyone that's trying to stop that is un-American. If you're trying to
stop
censor
someone's
people's
greatness.
speech,
Yes.
If you're
Just-
trying to stifle people's growth
And
because they
Americans
don't,
will fight for you because of it. It happens.
Yes.
This is the hit piece thing. When we
Uh-huh.
see the hit piece, it tears at like our American identity. Even if you don't admit you are, there's a part of you that's going, whoa, whoa, this person's trying to be great. And we're all here because we're trying to be great, or our family came here to be great. And this one's trying to be great, and the world is trying to stop that. Fuck them.
it's some people are trying to stop that.
Some
Yeah.
people are trying to stop that. But we have animosity for those people that are trying to stop greatness because it is a core tenet here.
Yes.
It's,
Yeah.
You can be great. An individual can be great here.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really special thing that we kind of lose here, that
That's
we
good.
lose sight of. But it is what makes me proud. Maybe it's because my mom's not from here and she came here and she felt like she had all this opportunity. And it was like, you can't tell my mom it's not the greatest country in the world. So I'm kind of like, I grew up with that. And there, of course, there's tons of problems. But this idea that like you can really achieve.
You're always going to have problems when you have human beings.
Yes.
And there's no perfect solution. Like universal basic income isn't the perfect solution. Welfare is not the perfect solution. There's no perfect solution to fix all that ails us. But at least here, you can go from the bottom to the top.
You can go for it.
Yeah.
You can really go for it. And you're not like,
Start from the bottom now.
facts. In some places, like, you might have the aptitude to go from the bottom to the top, but the culture will be oppressive.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about third world. I'm not talking about China. I'm talking about there are places where there's a system where, like, hey, you're working class? How dare you try to not be working class?
Yeah, that's what my friends in England say. My friends in
My
England.
mom's from Scotland. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It's
They
like, how
come
dare
over
you
here.
try to be great?
Mm-hmm.
And here it's like, wait, you're not trying to be great?
Right.
Why aren't you trying to be great? That you have the opportunity to be great.
Right.
And when we see greatness, we support it.
Yeah.
That's not to say that we don't have jealousy and animosity, but there still is a version of it here where it's like, nah, that motherfucker's great. And I am excited by that person's greatness.
If you're a winner.
If
But then you're also going to have a bunch of people that are just happy when you fall.
that's
because,
humans.
Yeah.
That is humans. We have it too.
Yeah.
But there's not a cultural oppression
Right.
that exists for greatness.
Exactly.
The place
Exactly.
is built to go to the top.
Yep.
And it makes me proud. For me, I really like. I wish more people would grab onto that idea.
Yeah. And it's all of us, too. That's what's so crazy about the idea that the American flag, the symbol, the American flag is offensive.
It's the best flag.
But it's so crazy that's all of us. That's even the good, the stuff that you think is good about America. Even if you're like the hardcore the most hard, far left, hippie, fucking anarchist. Like, you are a part of America.
Yeah.
Your ideas are America as well. That flag is yours too.
And we kind of need them.
We need everybody.
We need that back and forth. We need that
balance.
pendulum to swing. We do.
We need balance.
Because you see what happens when there's just people existing in that echo chamber. You saw what happens in fucking San Francisco or even L.A. You see like an idea permeate, and then a very lax law or a lack of enforcement of that law create a culture that people are now not happy with. Like if you ask the average person in LA or San Francisco, they're like, maybe we need some rules now. I think rules would be okay.
Yeah.
We could punish some crimes. It's okay.
Yeah.
When you exist in the echo chamber, you're fighting for different sides of liberalism. You don't have that balance where these people are yelling at these people and we kind of end up in here.
Right.
And that's healthy.
Right.
That little back and forth is healthy.
Right.
And I don't know. I get stoked off the American experience, but it does make me sad when I feel like everybody's upset about the right thinks it sucks, the left thinks it sucks. Everybody just thinks it sucks, and it's like, I don't know, man.
Well, I just think there's a lot of problems that exist today that weren't problems decades ago.
For example,
particularly social issues with the impact of social media has thrown this country into a fucking turmoil.
What do you mean?
It's a force that we didn't anticipate. The amount of echo chambers that exist, the amount of people that gather up together in these groups, and they have full confirmation bias. They only believe one side. They disregard all evidence from the other side.
Yeah.
They dig their heels in. They want to be on the right side of history. They want to win. If Donald Trump wins, it's a threat to democracy. Joe Biden's a criminal. He's a threat to democracy. Our whole life is at stake with this election. And it's like, if you're on the wrong side, you've been co-opted by the bad people.
Yeah.
And like, there's just so much tension that exists today where you can't have a difference of opinion with your neighbors. Where it used to be, if your neighbor was a Republican and you were a Democrat, nobody gave a shit.
Yeah.
Like, what's up, Bob? Maybe he would get annoying. He'd want to talk to you about fucking Watergate or something. Like, I gotta go, bro. I gotta go. But it wasn't anti-American.
It wasn't as divisive.
He wasn't the main problem in the world.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't a Nazi.
Yeah. He
just wanted to hold on to his money.
Exactly. He just thought you were a little bit of a pussy.
Yeah.
And you just thought he was maybe a little racist.
Yeah.
But you still barbecued.
Yeah.
It wasn't that crazy.
You said hi. You waved to each other when you were in the driveway.
Yeah, and now you think it's so divisive because of the internet. The echo chambers are created, and it's this good versus evil mentality on both sides. So how dare you hang out with someone who's evil?
Yeah.
What does that make you?
It's crazy. And then also, like, people dig their heels in and put fucking political signs on their front lawn. My mom used to do that. When she lived in Florida. She had like Hillary Clinton signs on her front lawn. And people kept stealing them. I'm like, Mom, take those down.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, what type of signs? I'm trying like
Hillary for president.
Oh, hilarious! Your mom.
Yeah.
The apple falls far from the tree.
Yeah. They keep taking my signs. I'm like, Mom, don't put those.
It's really
up.
you.
You're living in Florida.
It's just you. You're just sending people to take the signs.
She was living in Florida. I'm like, what do you expect? It's a red state.
So was she a big liberal?
Oh, my mom's a huge liberal.
Really?
Yeah.
Did she acknowledge that
they were
liberal...
hippies when I was a kid. We lived in San Francisco during the height of the anti-war movement.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I grew up, when I was 7 years old, we moved to San Francisco.
Do you remember this?
Yeah, very clearly. Yeah.
And is this kind of like informed your politics a bit?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we lived in a gay neighborhood. It was like all these hippies and gay guys would whistle at my stepdad.
No way.
Yeah, man. It was funny.
So you're like, I need to learn martial arts.
No, it wasn't dangerous.
These guys are coming for
It
me.
wasn't dangerous. I mean, there was some crime. You know, I got like my basketball stolen once. But it wasn't bad. It was a different time. It was like there was a lot of peace. Peace and love was real back then. Like the hippie movement was a real thing. And you know.
Oh, you felt it was pure.
Yeah, it was. They were nice people, man. I didn't even know what the N-word meant until I moved to Florida.
No way.
I'd never heard it. I never heard it in San Francisco. Nobody believes me. I didn't hear it. Nobody said it.
Wow.
It was so integrated. It was like everybody was like Asian and black and white, and it was just like the hippie movement was real, man, and it permeated the city in a kind way. They were nice people.
Yeah.
It was a different time. And it was also, when I was living there, was when the Vietnam War ended. And I remember very clearly thinking to myself, as like, I guess I was 10 or something.
Yeah.
Like, oh, boy.
You felt relief
so
as
happy
a kid?
Because now there won't be war anymore. They figured out that war is bad. Because while Vietnam was going on, everybody knew it was a crazy war. It didn't make any sense. There was all these protests, and then there was like Kent State where they shot the fucking protesters.
Yeah.
You know, the National Guard came in and shot the protesters.
Yeah.
So there was this craziness, this turmoil in this country that didn't exist. You know, it was a way that it's.
Wait a minute, this is interesting. More than now, you felt?
It's hard to say because I was a kid, you know. But there was definitely a thing where they were drafting people to go and fight in this war, and that was part of it.
Yeah.
Was the conscription that they were forcing you to go die in war,
Yeah.
and we knew people that had gotten forced to go over there,
Yeah.
and knew people that had died over there.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was a weird fear that they could force you to go to war. And so when that was over, there was this relief, like, whew, okay, good, we figured that out. And then, fucking 10 years later, I was hanging out with my roommate. We were watching Operation Desert Storm kick off on TV. Like, this is crazy.
Here we go again.
Here we go, man. It was me and my buddy Jimmy DiTilio. We're sitting in our house, and we were watching this. We were living together in Malden, Massachusetts, and we were watching this fucking TV while we're at war. Holy shit. We're watching the tracer missiles, the tracer rounds.
I don't know what those are.
The way you could see the bullets, they're lit up as they're flying through the air, and they're shooting them out of helicopters and shit. Like, and Operation Desert Storm, the first war was like a lot. It was like the first war that was like televised.
Yeah.
Like you could watch shit get blown up.
Yeah.
And I can't believe it. I was like, God damn it, we're doing it again. And this is like, it was, I guess, the 90s, right? When was the Iraq War? When was the first Iraq War?
Bush.
When they pulled out.
What is first Bush? 92?
So they pulled out. We only lost like a small number of troops. Gulf War, 90 to 91.
Got it.
So it was quick, and and Bill Hicks had the great bit about it.
What do you say?
He goes, it's only a war when two armies are fighting.
Yeah.
And he goes, they say, Bill, the Iraq War is the fifth largest army. He goes, yeah, but after the first two, there's a big drop off. He goes, the Salvation Army's number 3.
That's funny. That's funny. That's funny.
It's a great bit, but it's true.
Yeah,
I mean,
they gotta find a way to justify it.
And guys were just practicing. They were just doing stuff. Remember he had that bit, like, pull up G12. What does G12 do? Let's find out. And they're just, like, going through the weapons catalog. Like, pull that one up. Shoot it. Oh, shit. What's G13 do? And that was a Hicks bit.
Yeah. Fuck.
Bro.
Yeah,
and that one confused the shit out of everybody because he thought war was easy. We thought, bro, we just go over there and fuck everybody up real quick.
And why
like
do we think?
did.
But why do we think war was easy? Oh,
because they did
You're
it.
saying afterwards we thought
Iraq
war was easy.
The Iraq War was so easy for us.
That
the
we
first
thought that's
Iraq
war.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas Vietnam was this like difficult, long, dredged.
Didn't make
out.
any sense
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
This one was more like, oh, there's a despot. We got to get him out. Look how quick we could do it. He invaded Kuwait. Look how quick we take care of business. This is how. And we're like, God damn, America's pretty badass. So we got super cocky. It was like Mike Tyson before he fought Buster Douglas.
Yeah.
We're like, Mike Tyson
Everybody's
fights a blowout.
going down.
I'm not paying $50 for that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to last 30 seconds. And then you don't pay for the Buster Douglas fight. You're like, no. What?
Yeah.
He lost? No way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then the second Iraq war, and then you got real casualties. An invasion of Afghanistan, and it's going on forever and ever and ever. And it doesn't make any sense. You realize, oh, God, this is a never-ending war. This is almost like Vietnam. This is crazy.
Yeah.
It is horrible, man. I mean, that's the most horrible thing that people do, and it's the one thing that we don't think people will ever stop doing.
Which is war.
War. If you ask people, you think in 10 years there'll be no war.
No way.
No way.
No way.
There's never been a time.
No.
There's never been a time while we've been alive with our tribal instincts that we haven't decided to control someone's resources or justify an invasion or come up with some reason why someone's wronged us and blow up pipelines. And
We did blow it
done
up, huh?
I don't think they did it. Why would they do it? Why would they cut off their supply of gas to Europe and miss out on all that money?
So CIA does it, or
I don't know.
Yeah.
I would be just talking completely out of my ass, but Seymour Hersh said the CIA did it.
Wow.
And he's a very, very well-respected journalist. I mean,
Yeah.
he's about top of the food chain.
Yeah.
He's a legit journalist.
Yeah.
But what does he know? And what does he? I mean, if you weren't there, how much of it is disinformation? How much can get shuffled down even to you as a journalist? That's
Yeah.
just straight bullshit.
Yeah.
They're sophisticated, man. I mean, these people that are running, what do you call it, the deep state, the intelligence agencies?
Yeah.
There's people that want to disband all of them, like the Vivek Ramaswamy
Yeah.
guys. I think you need them. Because I think the world operates in a very clandestine way. There's
Yeah.
other countries have agencies that are doing the same thing the CIA does. If
Yeah.
we don't have a better one,
Then we're
that's
fucked.
not good.
Yeah.
If you don't have an army, if you're like, we don't need an army, we have flowers.
Yeah, yeah.
You need a fucking army.
Yeah.
Like, you want
Yeah.
to keep peace, you need an army.
Yeah.
You want to keep an eye on all the terrorist organizations in the world that are planning on blowing up America.
You need a CIA.
You need a CIA.
Yeah.
You fucking need them. You need all of them. You need
Yeah.
the NSA. You need all of them.
Yeah.
You need those people. But
Yeah.
in those people, you're going to get cowboys. You're going to get people that say, I know how we can fund the Contras versus the Sandinistas.
Yeah.
Sell drugs.
Yeah.
Let's just move some crack through L.A. We can make
Yeah.
millions of dollars. No one knows.
Yeah.
So you get Freeway Ricky Ross.
Yeah.
You bring him in. He's making untold amounts of money, and he's doing it for the
For
government.
the fucking government.
And that's why he's not getting arrested. And he doesn't even know. And he doesn't even figure it out until he goes to jail.
Isn't that crazy?
Because he doesn't even know how to read until he goes to jail.
But that is interesting. A lot of these actors don't even know that they're involved.
No.
It's way less involved
Exactly.
than we believe it is.
There's so many layers
Yeah.
to it, and it must
Yeah.
be so fun to be the dude
To be
who's
the
like,
people who are orchestrating it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be like that. I would never want to leave. If I was the head of the Pentagon, what a great job. Show up every day, your fucking Mercedes-Benz AMG, you hop out with your cufflinks, like, let's fucking, let's
Destroy
get shit
Central
rolling in the
America.
world. Woo! Let's go, baby. Let's go. You're on Adderall, and you're fucking hopped up, having a good time, getting work done. You're a great asset to the company. I love this company, and this company loves you, and you're fucking all in, buddy, at the expense of your marriage, your family, your friends. You're lying to everybody around you because you can't tell them what you're doing.
Yeah.
Nobody can know because they're fucking Signal. Bitch, you think that thing's secure?
No way.
No way.
They made it.
I bet they did.
Yeah, because you get to a certain point with success in this country where you have to be integrated into the government.
100%.
Google's integrated. Facebook is integrated.
They have
like,
to be. How do you
yeah.
think the fucking FBI was in Twitter? Hey, we're getting pressure from of our constituents.
Yeah.
We're getting pressure from this organization that gives us immense amounts of money, and we'd like you to put the fucking kibosh
on that
on this
laptop
stuff
story.
that's
yeah.
be a problem. Whether it's a laptop story or whether it's the COVID misinformation, whatever it is.
So how do you maintain your sovereignty?
That's a good question. How do you do it?
You.
Me personally? I
Yeah.
gotta pee. When I come back,
Yeah.
let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're back.
Okay, how do you maintain your sovereignty? How
Well-
do you are the most influential person on the planet. Government agencies would love to have a hold of you, I imagine. How do you make sure that you create distance between you and them so you can put out the content you want to do?
I haven't even thought about it.
But you know that they must try.
Yeah, but I mean, like, first of all, I'm not a valid source of information, but I can get you valid sources of information.
Meaning the
Like,
people
I'm
you
not an expert in anything other than like martial arts, and I can give you some information about some things. Comedy, I can talk to you about stand-up
I think
comedy.
you're being humble, but
No,
okay.
but I'm being honest.
Okay.
I'm not a legitimate expert in anything, but I can bring experts on, and I
Mhm.
can have honest conversations with them.
Mhm.
And as a human being that is in this world, it is imperative that we have access to all sorts of information, even information that might not be correct.
Yes.
You got to know why the person thinks the way they think, even if I disagree with them. Why do you think that?
Yeah.
Like, how does it work in your head? Have you considered this? I'll steel man their position.
Yeah.
I try to find out. And if you're silencing people that are from Stanford and Harvard, like they did during COVID, actual experts,
Yeah.
you're doing a disservice to human beings,
Yeah.
including you and your family.
Yeah.
Because if you're lying or allowing people to lie about medication
Yeah.
or about the adverse effects of medication,
Yeah.
that is not just you.
Yeah.
That's everyone that you know that's
Yeah.
also going to take that medication upon your admission or
Yeah.
your recommendation. You're doing a disservice to everyone,
Yeah.
to the whole. The person who's telling the truth is doing a service to everyone,
Yeah.
the whole.
So how do we parcel out the truth?
you got to listen to everybody.
And then you make that decision.
It takes time. Look how long it took from COVID to figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
You remember the early videos? You will not get it. The virus stops with you if you take this vaccine. Now it's like you will not die.
But
that's not even true.
Weren't gonna die, but
you probably won't die. You won't get hospitalized. Well, how do you know I was going to get hospitalized in the first place? Most people didn't get hospitalized.
Yeah.
Do you know what the percentage of people, even in the early days, got hospitalized from COVID?
Well,
5%.
Wow.
5%.
Which is a lot for 300 million people. That is a lot.
It's a lot.
But still, to not even retract publicly some of the statements made and to vilify the people that were putting out that other information is a very dangerous situation.
Well, the CDC had to take down all of their was it the FDA or the CDC? The FDA. The FDA had to take down all of their tweets about COVID with in reference to ivermectin.
Wow.
Like, you're not a horse, y'all. Stop it.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Was that the CDC? Find who made that. You're not a horse, y'all.
Yeah.
That was one of them. And this is about a medication that had been prescribed billions of times to human beings.
Yeah.
The FDA. You're not a horse. You're not a cow. Seriously, y'all. You're not a horse. You're not a cow. Seriously, y'all. Stop it. Why you should not use... Go back. Why you should not use ivermectin to treat or prevent COVID-19 from FDA.
Wow.
Just like... That is just propaganda, just full-on propaganda.
Yeah.
That's like saying penicillin is veterinary medicine, because they do use it in veterinary applications.
Yeah.
But it's for humans too, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And has it been used for humans? Has it saved lives? Yes.
Yeah.
Has ivermectin won the fucking Nobel Prize?
Yeah.
Yes.
So is penicillin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a human medication that has one of the safest profiles of any medication known.
Yeah.
And now they had to pull the article that they had to take all that down. So they had to delete 140 social media posts that were disparaging ivermectin.
I didn't even know this.
Yeah, they just lost in court. Pierre Corey has been ringing the bells for this. FDA agrees to delete "You're not a horse" ivermectin tweet. The FBI did not admit to wrongdoing under the terms of the settlement. Oh, that's great. They don't have to admit they were wrong because they were wrong.
Yeah.
They don't have to admit it. We know you're wrong. Great. You don't have to admit it.
Right.
Go ahead. The agency said the settlement detailed in the Thursday court filing in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Texas does not mean it changes position that no data shows ivermectin to be an effective COVID treatment. The agency is choosing to resolve this lawsuit rather than continuing to litigate over statements that are between 2 and nearly 4 years old. Oh, we said those 4 years ago, guys. The FDA said in an emailed statement, the agency has not authorized or approved ivermectin for use in preventing or treating COVID-19. But doctors have always been allowed to use off-label medications, especially when shown to be effective.
Right.
And there's a ton of randomized controlled trials that shows ivermectin to be effective for the treatment of COVID-19.
Right.
Including in entire Uttar Pradesh in India, where that's all they used it. They had an incredible result.
Yeah.
Look, people have used it. They used it. But when I used it and I had no fucking idea what can of worms I was opening up.
Yeah, they made you look like this.
Bro, they changed my color. They changed the color of my face. CNN was all in, but to their own detriment.
And now people lost faith in CNN.
God. The COVID thing to them was one of the worst experiences in terms of public trust.
Yeah, well, I think public trust is an all-time low in general. And that's their bed that they made. So that's the question, is like, how do you start believing again? Because there is an importance in believing and trusting the systems that we have. Like, it is important that we trust the medical field, right?
Yes.
I mean, maybe not blindly, and maybe we should have more information, but it is important when we go into like I was just telling you, like with my daughter, I was like, okay, it's time to get vaccines, and I freaked out. I genuinely freaked out.
Yeah.
I told you I was scared. And I didn't do enough research. I'm in that room, and I'm like, I think I need the weekend.
Yeah.
And
all of my friends that even are doctors who had no questions about the vaccines before COVID, they recommended all of them. Now a lot of them are changing their tune.
So
because
they have more skepticism based on the information that came out about the COVID vaccine or vaccines in general.
First of all, just the propaganda campaign behind the COVID vaccine.
So once they saw this
total
propaganda
denial of any adverse effects, even though they personally knew people who had strokes, heart attacks, died.
Okay.
The died suddenly thing, the fact that athletes were dropping like flies.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
athletes thing was nuts.
That was scary because these are the people that are in the best
Soccer
shape
players
in the world.
having heart attacks, just
Yeah.
dropping dead, all of them vaccinated.
Yeah.
When you're seeing these people just drop dead,
Yeah.
reporters on TV just fainting, passing out. People I know personally that got the shot that blacked out.
Yeah.
Quite a few. One of them, two guys I know that have fucking pacemakers now. One of them's in his 30s, one of them's in his 40s. As a fucking pacemaker now.
And you should at least have that information before you make that decision.
Well, you should know that that information exists, and instead they're trying to hide it, and they're trying to gaslight you about it. And then there's the thing about all-cause mortality. The increase in all-cause mortality there's a jump in all-cause mortality after administration of the vaccines. All-cause mortality is people that die from everything, die from heart attack, stroke, cancer.
Yeah.
All-cause mortality went up in some groups as much as 40%.
These are the control groups that have taken the vaccine.
Right. Well,
this is just for COVID or?
Well, people, just in general.
Yeah.
More people are dying. The percentage of all-cause mortality is in certain groups up significantly.
Mm-hmm.
I think in England they did a study that said it was up 20% across the board. In some groups, like 18 to 49. In some groups, it was up like as high as 40%. That means that 40% more people are dying from cancer, heart attacks, strokes, everything than were before. Everything, including people that probably would have died anyway.
Right.
But 40% more in some groups
and
are dying.
there are other variables that exist as well. I mean, this is a weird time.
Lack of medical attention during COVID. People didn't see their doctors. Maybe there was things that alcoholism. People drank more. Yeah. There's a lot of factors. But
we need
one
to
of
look
those
at all
factors might be this experimental
thing
medication
that we jabbed into ourselves. Yeah.
And the resistance against that being possible is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's because people, first of all, they advocated for it. They told you to get it. They probably chastised people and scolded people that didn't get it.
Yeah.
So now they have this opinion that they have started with and they're stuck with, and they want to be correct. They don't want to back. They don't want to back off. It takes a very courageous person to say
I'm fucking wrong.
Not only was I wrong, but I probably fucked people over, and a lot of people might have been adversely affected.
That's your career, your life, your identity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially if you're an intellectual.
That builds your entire identity around being right.
Yes, and there's massive pressure from all these institutions that have always been unquestionable in the past, like the FDA or the CDC.
It's like a botched surgery. If you go for plastic surgery and somebody fucks it up, you're not going back to that doctor. So they're terrified. So they have to go, no, we were right, 100% right. Trust me, I want to continue doing this. Okay, so the skepticism starts there, and then it starts to bleed into all vaccines.
Exactly. And that's
Which
where
is
it is
okay
with
to
some
have.
friends of mine that are physicians. And then you read what Robert Kennedy says.
Yeah.
And Robert Kennedy is the guy that gets put in the kook category.
Yeah.
And I had to admit that to him when I had him on the podcast.
What'd he say?
Had an opinion of you that was based on propaganda.
Yeah.
I thought you were this wacky conspiracy theorist guy. You're nuts.
Yeah.
You're the guy that's telling you like fucking, take silver iodine, you're gonna never get sick again. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you put them in this category of like holistic medicine guys or
yeah.
whatever. That's what's not even a bad thing.
Yeah.
But you put them in this naturopath category, kooky category, conspiracy theorist, tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
And then I read his book. I read The Real Anthony Fauci, and you read that book and you're like, okay, if this is not true, why isn't he getting sued? And it seems like this is the exact same playlist that they ran during the AIDS crisis, and that's the Dallas Buyers Club. The Dallas Buyers Club is all about that. It's all about Anthony Fauci. It's all about restricting medication to people that have HIV and forcing them to take AZT, which was killing everybody. AZT kills people. It was a chemotherapy medication they stopped using because it kills people quicker than cancer. People that were asymptomatic from HIV were put on AZT, and they were dead within 6 months. It's a chemotherapy medication you're supposed to stay on. No chemotherapy medication you stay on indefinitely. You take them for a course because it's damaging, because it's killing the cancer, but it's also killing you. And then it kills the cancer, and you recover, and then the cancer is gone, and that's how chemotherapy works when it works.
But they just kept them on the whole time.
But they weren't using it for cancer anymore. Ooh, read the book. Not only that, they experimented with vaccines for HIV on foster kids in New York, and a bunch of them died. It's all in the book. And if it's not true, why didn't
they sue his ass?
Why isn't he getting sued? Why aren't there articles written pointing out all the things that are absolutely wrong with what he's saying about the HIV crisis?
So your position is fair skepticism about the vaccines, and let's get some more studies and information out there, and then we can make our own decisions based on that.
Right. What's the cause of the uptick in chronic illness, autism, all these different things? What is it? Are there environmental factors? Is it contamination? Is it food? Is it pollution? What is it? What is it? What is it? And could it be that too? Could it be these vaccines? Is it possible that these people that tell these stories about having perfectly healthy children and then them getting vaccinated and then all of a sudden the kid like going non-responsive?
Yeah.
That seems like it's possible that there's a correlation there.
Yeah.
If there's a cause and then there's an effect. If there is an action and then there's an effect.
Let's see if there's a connection
If there's a
here.
thing that you do and all these parents, you could say a bunch of them, it was just a coincidental that the kids started showing it after the medication was administered, and maybe that's true. Maybe that's true.
And
but how do we know if that's not even
I
considered?
think there's a timing
if it's a taboo
thing too.
subject.
Isn't there like a timing thing where like kids don't show those symptoms until one, and that is when you vaccinate them or something? So there are there's correlational issues here.
Doesn't mean causation.
Of course not. But let's study
the fact
it. Let's
that
fucking
you
look at
can't
it.
ever even consider
Without looking like
that
a wacko.
injecting kids with chemicals, including mercury and aluminum, that you're doing this. That this might have a negative effect on some kids, and that maybe the corresponding uptick in these chronic illnesses and allergies and diseases and autism, maybe.
What was the allergy
You can't even say
connection
anything.
again? What was
aluminum.
That's right, because every one of the vaccines has a little aluminum in it.
Yes. Well, the way it is, you have an inert form of the virus, right? And then you have this irritant. You have this thing that fucks with your body, and your body goes, "What is this?"
I gotta
the
go fix
aluminum's
it.
there. Oh, there's a vaccine, or there's a virus in here,
I'll
dead
create the
virus.
antibodies.
I'll create the antibodies. And it works. It does work. But does it also have negative effects? And is it a volume thing? Is it the amount of vaccines you give a kid all together?
Yes.
You know, they're trying to give your kid like HPV vaccine right from birth.
Yeah.
Like, when do they start giving them hepatitis B? That's
12 hours
That's
in.
when birth. Yeah.
12 hours in, they came into the room, and they're like, hepatitis B.
Yo!
And I was like, what is it? Because I didn't know what it was. And they were like, it's a disease that could kill your kid. And I was like, well, we should probably give it to her. And then I'm like, how do you even get it? And they're like, it's a sexually transmitted disease. And I was like, hold on.
Yeah.
Like, I think that we could pump the brakes a little bit.
12
on this
hours
one.
old? Yeah. We got time.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Okay, so I understand. So now there's a skepticism. People
then, right now, just having this conversation, even talking about it the way we've talked about it so carefully, you'll be labeled an anti-vaxxer. So Andrew Schultz and Joe Rogan float around anti-vax conspiracy theories.
Well, we're not conspirizing right now, right?
Nope.
We're just literally saying maybe it's okay to do the research without shame.
Well, how is it not possible to talk about it without being labeled a kook? If this is a thing, if you're injecting kids with chemicals, and we know that medications have adverse effects, even simple medications. Some people have horrible effects from all kinds of stuff. There's people that can't take, like Aaron Rodgers couldn't take the mRNA vaccines because there's an ingredient in them that he's deathly allergic to.
So an interesting thing is I asked the doctor, and she was actually great. The doctor was really great. Like, her mom was kind of anti-vax, and she's like, so I understand it. There's no pressure. I was telling you this. And then she said this was interesting. I was like, what about if we scheduled them out, delayed them, I think is what they say. And so you have less viral load at one time. She said something interesting. She goes, listen, every vaccine has a little bit of preservative in it, right? You need to have a little bit in order to keep that inert disease alive or whatever. She goes, so the question you have to ask now is, okay, maybe the preservative isn't good to put in your kid, and now you're putting more of it in because you're doing more vaccines over a longer period of time. So this is a variable I didn't even fucking think of. I'm trying to lower the viral load that my 8-week-old baby has inside her, but now I'm increasing the preservative load that the baby has. And I don't know the effects of that. And that's why I had to walk out.
And the thing is, the medical institutions have been captured by pharmaceutical drug companies. And they're captured.
Well,
they're captured by the agencies.
Yeah.
It's not as simple as a doctor is basing it all on his education and his understanding of this particular situation and the objective science of all of it. No, there's a narrative. There's a narrative that gets distributed. And that was the narrative during COVID. You must get vaccinated. They were telling people to get vaccinated right after they got over COVID. It doesn't even make sense. It's completely unscientific.
And they make it restrictive. Like, for example, my wife, in order for her to go to school, had to get the booster. Like, she was getting her MBA, and she had to. So, and the same thing with kids. Like, if you want to put your kid in like a school, they have to have them all.
Yeah.
If you want to put it in a daycare,
If you want
they
to
have
travel, if you want to fly, certain jobs.
So
Yeah.
you start to feel the pressure, and the outside pressure makes you go, okay, I'm being forced into this decision. I don't really have my freedom. You say I have my freedom, but I want my kid to get educated.
Right.
I want my kid to be able to go see their grandparents. I want my
Right.
kid to do these things. And yeah, you do feel this. You feel a social pressure. You don't want to be labeled a fucking anti-vax weirdo. But at the same time, it was hard as hell for my wife and I to get pregnant. So I'm really protective over this innocent little baby, and I don't want to be responsible for giving him something that could fuck him up. I don't know how I live with myself. Yeah.
Clearly. Do you remember when Jenny McCarthy was saying that vaccine caused her son to be autistic, and she was just attacked mercilessly?
I don't remember, but
Essentially, it was like kind of the end of her ever being taken seriously. It was kind of the end of her career. Jenny McCarthy was huge.
yeah,
at one point in
MTV
time.
days, I remember.
MTV days, she
Yeah.
had her own sitcom.
Yeah.
Like there's Jenny McCarthy was doing a lot of different things, and you don't hear about her at all
I think
anymore.
Robert De Niro even tried
TV
to.
show.
She had a TV show recently.
She's been on a show.
What is
the
it?
Masked Singer or whatever. She's
Oh.
a judge on that.
Oh, okay.
Last
So
4 or
she's
5
back.
years. Yeah.
Well,
But for a long time,
I think
she was
Robert-
like persona non grata. What is the Masked Singer?
it's a game show. Where
She's
they-
one of the. I'm so ignorant. I don't even know that show's still in the air.
Been on, yeah.
Anyway, it's one of these things where you're like,
she's one of the judges.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's-
So she's
it's
okay.
scary.
But she,
It's
if the conversation comes up with vaccines,
Yeah.
like people roll their eyes, like, oh, Jenny McCarthy.
So what's
she's
the way to-
anti-science.
but what's the way to like talk about it and have the conversation?
We're not anti-vaccine movement. We're pro-safe vaccine.
Beautiful woman, huh?
Oh yeah.
Well, damn, bro. She could still be beautiful. You know?
Yeah, Jamie's rude.
Well, no, I was talking about when it was being talked about. That was not a
She's an
reference
old
to her
bitch
age.
now.
It was the reference to when the
No,
art
it
was
just,
posted.
I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, you're scared because you want to protect this thing that you really care about and love both ways. You don't want them to get a disease
Of course.
and get sick that you could have avoided, while at the same time, you don't want to put something in them that could have a negative effect. So you're just in this stalemate.
I know.
And
And you don't know
yeah.
who to trust.
And that's the
what to
problem with
believe.
information right now. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't think we know what to believe about anything. It's like,
Right.
even the trans visibility day thing, like every headline was Biden declares Easter trans visibility day.
Right.
And I read it and I was like, there is no way. Like, yeah, maybe there's a bunch of lefties there, liberal leaning, but there's no way that he would declare Easter this way. And I looked into it. Trans Visibility Day started like 15 years ago.
Right.
3 years ago, they declared it. And then Easter obviously changes every year the date. It doesn't change the day.
Right.
And then it ends up on the Sunday.
Right.
But the headline is Biden declares Easter Trans Visibility Day.
Right.
Once I read that and I know it's fake, now every headline is fake to me. And I think now I'm in this like, maybe we're all in
Right
this
wing and left
whirlpool.
wing. Right.
They're all
Yeah.
using it because there's money to be made out of it.
Clicks.
That click is valuable,
Mhm.
and they will knowingly, like we were talking about that woman earlier with the Huberman thing. There is
Mhm.
money to be made out of that,
Yes.
and as long as there is money to be made from it,
They'll
will
go for it.
and they'll remove information that is incredibly important to the truth of the story.
Yeah.
I don't know how you solve
But that thing, the Biden thing, is kind of crazy because, on this day of our Lord, like they make this declaration and they know that it's going to happen on Easter Sunday.
They know this year or maybe last year,
Yeah.
but when they started it, they're not
Right,
like,
it's just
how
March
are we going to take
31st.
away Easter from?
Right. It's like Thanksgiving. It always happens on a Thursday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's
Easter
like-
Sunday is always a Sunday. And
But
it
it-
could vary from April to March.
Exactly.
Yeah, like it could be March 31st or it could be April 23rd. Like it's really wide.
Yeah.
The range that Easter Sunday falls
And
on.
they saw it coming this year, and they're probably like, fuck. If we move it, we hate the trans. If we don't move it,
I
we
doubt
hate
they-
the Christians.
I think they saw it as an opportunity to
There's in an
to-
election cycle,
Yeah,
Joe,
yeah, yeah.
it was
because
absurd.
the loons on the left, they're all in with that
Joe
stuff.
doesn't know what a trans is.
Well, he knows. One of them got fired for stealing bags,
He
and the other
thinks
one
that's a
pulled their
woman.
tits out.
He's 80 years old. If you went to him and you were like, that's actually a man, he would go, there's no fucking way.
He
Show it to me.
Bro, that administration is all in on that stuff in such a hardcore way that he got interviewed by Dylan Mulvaney.
Yeah. And he thought that was a woman.
And I've been a girl for 350 days. He's like, oh, God bless you. God bless you. That's what he said. Did you ever see that interview?
No.
Oh, it's wild.
No.
It's wild.
But like, I think none of us really believe he's making the decisions, right? He's just like
No.
a puppet for the.
Yeah.
And he's just there to get lambasted when all these things happen.
Yeah.
And then he forgets about it immediately afterwards.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
He
He's
has
the
no
perfect
fucking
guy
clue.
to blame for things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why he's there. That's why you get the 80-year-old dude.
But the idea that they're going to keep running him is just bananas.
I mean-
you're going to keep him in there. I can't believe that's real, but as time goes on, I'm starting to think they might actually keep running him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that they would switch him out. They're not in a position they can switch him out for anybody. Who's
Well-
They're thankful too. I'm right over there with you.
You're gonna take the scooter over there instead of just getting in the car?
No, I mean, I would. The only thing about the scooter is you can't take it on Hollywood Boulevard. Actually, you should probably let me have like a copy of that or something.
Honestly.
Because I think I'll have a chance. I'll see that person before you will.
Oh, look, he's got that delivery right there.
Oh man, wait, hold on.
I don't know.
They're not gonna open it if they know we're here. I promise you.
I guess they're not gonna be able to get it.
You know, you're just gonna see a hand pop out.
What? This guy's
Oh, they're opening it up for him. You're not gonna make it. Hurry up! You better make it. Hurry! Made it just in time. Oh, she's fast. Look, she left the door open.
I thought they were back. Maybe just bring it down again.
This photo. Right? Sorry for
Yeah.
this building. This building for order. Photo here.
Maybe I will ring that bell by that door right there. That's where it says deliveries right there. Oh.
Does it give a code?
This outside.
Does it give a code?
Huh?
Does it give a code?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what to do if you don't have a code. If you call and ask for a code, maybe.
Let us know what the code is.
Oh, there he is. Hey, you guys know what the code is back there? It's magic. It just opened up. I guess that's it. What are they doing? I don't understand. I think it's the... Yeah, you might know the code. You might be pressing the code.
I would just take the stop, maybe truck it over the gate. Maybe just truck it over.
Maybe they speak English.
Oh.
I don't know. If I were you, I would try that door over there.
Maybe they'll have somebody come and call them, and somebody will come out.
Yeah. I think text.
I agree.
Where is it? This text.
This, it looks like right here. It's
This is hilarious.
TikTok is gonna love this.
She recognized you? Of course she did. Yeah, I don't know.
You could have gotten like 10 more deliveries.
Maybe just press the buttons, maybe? Huh? Oh, no. We're just...
Documentary.
I don't know. Hey, you guys got a delivery over here. I don't want to step on your property. Hey, you got a delivery. Hey, guys, you got a delivery. Try to help them out. They don't. They're holding him up. This poor guy, he's trying to get home. It's Saturday night. He just wants to deliver what you guys ordered. You guys are holding him up. Be careful. Yeah, I hope they paid for all that up front. Hey, you guys got a delivery. What's the number?
1710.
1710. So that's 1723. I think that's it. Because this are...
Okay, no number apartment. Look at the G's here. It's no number apartment.
No, no.
That's not apartment. I think no, that bottom is museum.
1 second.
What's the address over here? Yeah, so this is 1714. So 1714, so that's got to be 1710 right there. For Rena Wahlberg. What's their names on them? Robert Diskin. Okay. It's probably for the whole room too. 6 people.
Okay, after this.
Yeah, it's got to be over there. Hey, you guys got a delivery, and they got a fan coming. A little 4-inch fan to take care of 6 people. No. No, I think it's right here. Hey, no. 1710. Is that what it says? 1710?
Yeah, look, 1710.
They should change the color of that. Make it white or something. It's hard. When you press that button, it makes a noise. It makes like a doo-doo-doo-doo sound. That gotta be it. Well, I hope you don't leave it there. Oh, if you leave it there, somebody will steal it. Yeah. They don't make things easy.
There's a doorbell right there. I press that a couple dozen times. Yeah, let's do an unboxing video for that.
They've got to know he's out there. Why don't you guys open the door for him?
Yeah, right. Maybe open the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, open the door. You can delivery. The wrapper this.
You press the button. Maybe they open it.
This
Oh.
We took 1710.
Cooper Gate Security. Yes,
Cooper Security? I never.
Right, Cooper. I was with Cooper. No, Cooper Gate. Cooper Gate. This floor.
What's the address though? 1710, right?
This color Cooper, yes. This color Cooper.
Oh, Copper?
Copper, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Ivor Street, Copper Gate, security of.
Yeah. I don't know. They're not making it easy. They got cameras. They can see. There you go.
Oh, that's like
Guys, you got a delivery.
I've been out here for a decade. What are you doing?
You got deliveries. I forgot their names. I had the names for them.
You better tip him after all that.
Yeah, give them a tip.
All $47. Yeah, let him in.
Let them in.
Coming out now.
Let them in. Can I come in or no? We just want to come in. What about the tour?
How long do you think he's gonna be in there? He's gonna be like, well, you're here.
And that's his ride right there. I think, right? Like, who is that person sitting there? I thought they might be together.
Are you waiting on this guy? Are you waiting on this guy?
He's not? Oh, wow. Watching us. Yeah, I hope he gets a tip. They're gonna give us some hand sanitizer.
Yeah, he's gonna come out with gloves on. That's not gonna happen. Oh my God, on and off.
The door open too. No, I closed the door.
I've had a lot of success with mom stuff. Just saying, will you help me? My mom died. I'm pretty sure. Will you help me? My dad's in jail. That's the thing.
Yeah, I talked to Lori 2 minutes. So she's aware they were searching.
What, she's surprised?
She seems bothered and disturbed. I feel nothing bad. There's nothing in there.
Never before seen footage was just released during the Idaho trial of Chad Daybell that once again provides more questions than answers. We're going to break down what this footage could mean in the case for the man accused of murdering his first wife and his current wife's 2 children. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. We had quite a few moments in the Idaho trial of Chad Daybell that we want to talk to you about right now. Of course, Daybell is the second half of the alleged doomsday cult duo story. This is the husband of Lori Vallow Daybell. She was convicted, sentenced to life in prison for her role in the murders of her 2 children, 7-year-old Joshua J.J. Vallow and 16-year-old Tylee Ryan. Their bodies were found on Chad's property, and we can't forget that Lori Vallow Daybell was also convicted of conspiracy to commit the murder of Chad's first wife, 49-year-old Tammy Daybell, who died in the family home. After her body was exhumed, it was determined by authorities that she did not die of natural causes, as was first believed, but that she died from homicidal asphyxiation. Well, now we have the trial of Chad Daybell, this religious author who wrote about the end of days and dark spirits. He's charged with the murders of the kids. He is also charged with the murder of Tammy. He's facing also a slew of other financial-related charges as well. And prosecutors allege that Lori and Chad, they used religion as a motivation to kill. They also say that they were having an affair, and after killing these 3 people, they looked to benefit financially through insurance and Social Security payouts. Now, let me tell you, this is a case that I've personally covered since 2019. I know it pretty well. I've covered a lot of different facets of it. But having said that, in court during Chad's trial just now, we saw something that we have never seen before. New police video of Chad Daybell. And it centers primarily around when Chad was arrested on June 9th, 2020. This, remember, is when those kids, their bodies, their burnt, decomposed bodies were found in his backyard. Tylee found near a fire pit. JJ found near a pond. Now, before we even get to the new footage, this jury that's currently seeing this trial, this jury heard what we and Lori Vallow Daybell's jury have already heard. This recorded phone call between Chad and Lori when she was locked up in the Madison County Jail on charges of failing to produce the children who went missing. And in this call, again, this is the day when authorities are searching Chad's property.
Hi, babe.
Hello?
You okay?
No, they're searching the property.
The house right now?
Yeah. Yeah. Mark Means will be talking to you.
Okay. What, are they in the house?
No, they're out in the property.
Are they seizing stuff again?
They're searching. There's a search warrant, and so I just did him as with the kids.
Okay.
And we'll see what transpires.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
What do you want me to do? Pray.
What?
What do you want me
Yeah,
to do?
pray. Pray. Yeah.
Okay. What can I do for you?
I'm feeling pretty calm. I would call Mark, though, really. I love you so much.
Okay, I love you. Should I try to call you later?
I don't know. I don't know. You can try, yeah. I'll answer if I can.
That is such an important piece of evidence because we know that they find the kids' bodies on that property. And does Chad say, I don't know what they're doing. Why are they looking there? Or do you hear Lori saying, what on earth is going on? No. It's almost as if they aren't that surprised and are like, well, let's see what happens. They're probably going to find the bodies and probably going to be arrested. That's my interpretation. That's how I see it. And I have to tell you, I think that is a fair interpretation. By the way, Mark Means was the attorney for the Daybells at that time. Hey there, everybody. So one of my favorite things about being a host here on Law and Crime is how passionate our audience is. You guys, you don't just sit back and watch. No, you engage. You leave comments. You give us feedback. You make your opinions known. Can't tell you how much we appreciate that and value that. And one of the most popular opinions that we have seen is how much you love our police interrogations. And I have to agree because they are so unpredictable. They let you see firsthand how detectives uncover the truth behind a crime, the strategies they use, what suspects, defendants say. It is so important at trials. Can't tell you enough. Well, I am excited to tell you that we here at Law and Crime, we have heard you loud and clear. And we have launched a whole new YouTube channel dedicated only to interrogation videos. It is aptly named Law and Crime Interrogations, and it is your new destination for all of the most gripping and unique interrogations on the internet. We're talking the moments when killers crack, false confessions, the most elaborate cover-up schemes that still seem to fail. You can check it out. Go subscribe. Let us know what you think. Click the link in the description to step inside the interrogation room on Law and Crime Interrogations. Now let's move on to this new footage, okay? So Rexburg detective Eric Wheeler, he takes the stand. And he explains that on the day of the search of Chad's property, he was tasked with maintaining the security of the scene. And at one point, when it appeared Chad may be leaving, Chad was ultimately detained, handcuffed, and placed in Wheeler's patrol car. Chad was told that human remains had been found, okay? So at one point, Emma, Chad's daughter, shows up. And she starts talking to Chad while he is in the back of that patrol car. And this video and audio is recorded on Wheeler's patrol car camera. But before we even get into that footage, Wheeler testified that Chad was looking awkwardly at the search, even suspiciously near that pond area, remember, where JJ was found? And then listen to this.
Detective, what direction was Mr. Daybell looking when he just turned his head and looked back?
It appears to me he's looking over to the fire pit area.
And that is in fact where Tylee's remains were found?
Yes.
And you were present when her remains were found, is that correct?
I was.
Suspicious, right? And you know why that's bad for the defense, other than the fact that the bodies were found there? Because the defense, in their opening statement, seemed to suggest that Chad had no idea the bodies were there, that perhaps Alex Cox, Lori Vallow Daybell's deceased brother, the purported hitman in this case, that he was the one who deposited the bodies on Chad's property without him knowing. So why would Chad be looking at those specific locations? Something to think about. Okay, I've teased it enough. Now let's get into this footage. This footage of Chad's daughter, Emma, shows up, again, starts talking to him while he's in the patrol car. Again, we have never seen this before. Let's check it out.
You understand why that?
Yeah.
So you just stay here with them? Okay.
They said I could talk with you and I didn't want you to be alone. I love you so much.
I love you. Glad you came over.
I thought they had taken you downtown already.
I got about to the Fremont County line.
I gave him
First.
food.
We'll try to get a car before it's for you.
You can eat it.
So, Eric, or Ron, like my wallet, will that be able for her to pick up, or could I turn that over to her right now?
Is that in the car? Is that here?
It's right here.
It's up to you. I don't see. Can I look through it? Just make
Sure.
Who's going to get Mark?
So-
No, someone's guard.
Is there anything you're going to need in there?
Well, she'll be running my finances, I suppose, so that has a little money on it. She could.
Okay. So these are credit cards, so you're good if you just take them.
Yeah.
Correct?
In the middle drawer on the left side in Mark's room, there's about $9,000 in 2 white envelopes.
Emma, clearly emotional, says she loves her father, Chad, appears to give him a hug, and then they immediately start going into preparing, finances, what she needs to do. And I'm not going to lie to you. It is a bit of a strange conversation, in my mind. I mean, he was told remains were found on his property. Where is that shop? Emma's reaction, I have to tell you, I think is interesting too. But let's continue on as he appears to go through his wallet.
I believe the Hawaiian,
This one?
First Hawaiian Bank, if you use that same password for this account, it's Chad Daybell. That's what else is in here. Producer there. This has nothing on it. It's like $6. That's go away. So this, okay, in that same drawer, is a piece of this that was put in here, and it's got the company card, company business card. And so just make sure you get that.
And this is all in Mark's room?
Yeah, I put that in there. There's like a pamphlet with a guy sitting in a car. It's for the Wells Fargo auto loan.
That's the loan that they keep going on.
Yeah, and so that we'll talk about. So this has, if you go to Telmate, this is the card that's used.
Okay.
And so all you really do, you could probably just sign in as Chad.Daybell or start your own.
I have an account that I've been talking with Lori on.
Okay. But you could use this
To
card,
add money.
yeah, and to her if needed.
Okay.
So, yeah, she'll need to still have commissary money. Usually puts 30 a week in there. And you can probably talk to her too.
Did you catch that? Did you hear that? Communication between Lori and Emma, and that Lori needs money too. Now, you might be saying, well, what is this relationship between Lori and Chad's children? Well, that is interesting to explore as well, because at one point in time, it was discovered that Emma allegedly wrote on Reddit in a now deleted post, and let me read that to you. It says, quote, "My mother passed away October 19th, 2019. The coroner told us natural causes. It looked like the textbook definition of heart failure. The death was unexpected and my family has taken it hard. My dad has already remarried. A friend of the family lost her husband earlier this year, and for whatever reason, she and my dad decided to tie the knot. It feels weird, but I already had a positive relationship with my new stepmom, and she has helped our family grieve. It's definitely a weird marriage. Both still talk of their former spouses frequently. My dad misses my mother terribly. A few neighbors, led by my aunt, in our small town have decided that since my dad remarried so quickly, he murdered my mother. This started out as a benign, though hurtful rumor. It has escalated to the point, however, that they exhumed my mom's body for an autopsy. The family had no warning. We went to visit her grave, and her body had been dug up. I don't know the results of the autopsy yet, but I feel extremely violated. I just want to grieve. I'm hurt that my aunt would cause so much trouble. Has anyone else experienced anything like this? I feel so alone." Now, I should tell you that John Pryor, when questioning a witness at this trial, really honed in on that this was a rush to judgment, that it was a rush to exhume Tammy's body, that the investigators didn't look at even her death certificate, that there were other explanations for how she could have died. And remember, John Pryor teased in his opening statement that they would call the kids to talk about the different health ailments of Tammy Daybell, and that these kids didn't know that their mother's body was being exhumed. So that's something that is definitely going to be explored, or seem to be explored, by John Pryor in this trial. Now, is it strange? Yes, it's a bit strange. But listen, we don't know really what's going on with the Daybell's children, their feelings on all this. We understand they may testify at this trial, and we'll focus on that when it happens. By the way, I know we cover some very difficult stories here on Sidebar, but we also do on our intense body cam videos. I really appreciate you watching those, by the way. So the world is scary. I think all of that makes it clear. The world is scary. It really is. Hard to be prepared for what happens. But having said that, there is one thing you can do, and that is be prepared if you get hurt. That brings me to Morgan & Morgan, the largest injury law firm in America and our proud sponsor. If you should get injured, it is so vital that you understand your legal rights and whether you're entitled to be compensated, because that injury could be worth millions of dollars. Morgan & Morgan's a firm that's not afraid to take on big insurance companies that sometimes lowball offers. No, Morgan & Morgan will take a case to trial if it's necessary. And you know what? They win big. Verdicts of $12 million in Florida, $6.8 million in New York, $26 million in Philadelphia. All of these, by the way, were significantly higher than the highest insurance offers in these cases. And since Morgan & Morgan is so client-focused and they want to make the process as easy for you as possible, they've completely modernized it so it's all done from your smartphone. From submitting your claim, to signing documents, to uploading materials, to talking to your whole legal team. Seeing if you have a case only takes a few minutes. So if you're injured, you can submit a claim at forthepeople.com/LCBodyCam or by dialing #law, that's #529 on your phone. In the meantime, let's focus a little bit more on Chad. Now, let's move on with the video, because then they talk about John Pryor, as I mentioned, Chad's attorney, and they focus a little bit more on the finances.
I texted John Pryor, so he has my number. He said thank you.
Okay. A lot of the company stuff that pays for the house, did this auto pay still out of that company account. And I left $5,000 in there.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I think it sounds like you're not gonna be out.
Right.
So I think my landlord texted me just to feel bad for me. I think I'm gonna come over here.
That's what I needed to say.
By the way, you know what's important to note about that comment? Sounds like you're not going to be out. He hadn't formally been put under arrest or what charges he could face. He wasn't told. But then again, he was detained and put in the back of the car and was told human remains were found, so maybe not that surprising.
And whatever Mark wants to do, he should stay with either you or...
Mark, you'll take care of me. I will, Dad. They'll take care of me. They'll take care of you the best they can. Sorry to interrupt.
So, keep paying the mortgage out of the company's...
Okay.
No, you can probably set it up, though. I'm trying to... It's the Wells Fargo. In that same pamphlet,
I'll look, but I've had a lot of success with mom stuff. Just saying, will you help me? My mom died. I'm pretty sure. Will you help me? My dad's in jail. It's the same.
it should be paid through July 1st.
Okay.
And I think the car is paid through July 15th. So you shouldn't have any bills to worry about. Yeah, I'm not coming back. So all that stuff that's in the baby room is Lori's and mine. The suitcases you'll see in the box. Just this is in the garage, I guess.
Okay, let's break that down. Him saying, I'm not coming back, a jury could look at that and say, yeah, he knows the jig is up. I mean, where is the, get my lawyer on the phone, this is wrong, I don't know what they're doing. No, we don't hear that. It's almost like, and again, this is how I see it. Well, had a good run. Now you got to take care of yourself. Here's all my finances. Here's what you have to do. Look, again, I don't know the dynamics here between Emma and Chad. I can imagine this must be a very difficult time for Emma, but it is a little weird, at least to me. How she's talking about calling up this company and saying almost jokingly, oh, my mom died, will you help me? Oh, my dad's in jail, help me. I get it. I understand completely what she's saying, what she's talking about, how she can work through the red tape here. It's just a bit of an odd statement, that's all. Now, as we continue to break down this new footage of Chad Daybell, let's continue on with a couple more odd statements.
We're going to make it through. I'm glad we could talk. I'm glad they let you think of it.
I started crying and he said, well, what do you want to talk to? And like, Hannah, he said, he's just over there. Oh, that changes things. You probably saw us out there.
Yeah, well, so, things will slow down for you guys and get left alone. But yeah, they'll let you move out of there. You just get over here. You get gosh,
well, I
still feel better.
People, that's what the spirit was telling me, but I didn't know how I felt like I needed to learn more. And now I get it.
So yeah, this is essentially the house, and we'll talk to Don Fire about the financial arrangements, but you should be fine for a while.
I keep long enough to get on our feet. We're okay, Dad.
Well,
we're okay. You raised us, but we're independent now. With your wallet.
Glad we got that. Get that money out of there. Probably just put it in your own personal account. That doesn't have the cash. Yeah, I talked to Lori for like 2 minutes. So she's aware they were searching.
Was she surprised?
She seemed bothered or disturbed. I mean, yeah, but so yeah, I'll be fine.
I don't know what they told you, because I asked Lieutenant Ball, where did you find the human remains? That's what they told me, that they found human remains, and I said, well, there are several dogs that have been buried there, and he said, respectfully, Emma, I can tell the difference in human remains. and I asked where was it, and he said over by the pond under that tree. But it was in the ground and had boards over it.
Okay.
But that didn't. Jason and I have walked all over there.
Yeah.
That, and I can see in your face that surprised you. That because they asked, "Do you want to know what he's charged for?" And then they went, "Well, actually, we don't have it." They said, "We don't want to tell you something wrong."
How they're gonna.
And so he told me that what they're looking at is that they found one body with the probable cause. There's likely two. So I asked, "Are you gonna search the property forever until it's found?" And he said, "Well, no, but we're going to look." And he said, because I said, "What about, this is the home for my siblings and there's a baby." And he said, "If you're not able to get back in tonight, we'll hook them up with a hotel." But you're not in trouble.
I think they'll let them back. There's nothing in the house.
Odd statement. Odd statement, no? Chad says, nothing in the house? This discussion of human remains found on the property, and no surprise. Seems confident. Nothing in the house. And you also hear about a little bit with Lori there, too. All right, let's close this out. You're going to hear how this conversation ended between Chad and Emma.
Love you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for letting me speak with her.
Yes. Just when that cellmate, once I'm available to talk, we can talk. So, thank you. Love you.
So look, anytime we hear a defendant, particularly anytime we hear the defendants in this case, it's illuminating. It provides context, it provides clues, it provides evidence. We will see what the jury takes away from this discussion, if anything. On the flip side, I'm sure the defense could suggest that there's nothing incriminating about this. That he knew police were out to get him from the beginning, so he wasn't that shocked that this was happening and wanted to prepare his family for him going away. Not sure that John Pryor, his attorney, will argue this or even really bring up this footage in a closing argument, but nevertheless, this is a new detail that we can't ignore. That's all we have for you here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jesse Weber. I'll speak to you next time.
To make.
Way. The dioceses are all registered separately. Many of them have gone bankrupt because of having to pay compensation for child abuse. Quite rightly, as they should. So you've got this thing of this incredible complexity with hundreds. I mean, back in the 90s, I think I counted 400 distinct corporations. Then you have the idea that this stupid Hubbard mistake of telling the world that there was a covert data collection agency. From then on, harassment was outsourced to private detectives, people like Eugene Ingram, disgraced LA.
So let's just really react right now to Mike Rinder's literal body language so everyone can see how is he really responding here? How is he really looking while all of these points are being brought up by John Atack, including fact that there is a data collection agency embedded into the framework of Scientology, and said data collection agency is none other than the Office of Special Illegal, Highly Illegal Affairs, which Mike Rinder volunteered pro bono to work in. So it's very, very interesting that your body language shows how uncomfortable you are as all of this is being brought up. Mike Rinder. You should look at yourself and see if you don't spot your own uncomfortable AF body language that you have on full display right here.
PD officer who went around the world harassing people, and so you get a lawyer to hire a PI who might hire another PI firm, so that if you get caught, like the guy who hacked Tony Ortega's emails, who was convicted and yours, convicted in June 2015, I think.
Yeah.
So there is an active organization there, but there is also things, you don't. The terrible mistake when the FBI came in July 77, the biggest raid in their history, they found red box documents. They found documents that implicated, material I have on Charles Manson comes out of one of those boxes, showing.
All right, so material that John Atack has on Charles Manson. So for those thinking that L. Ron Hubbard is such a superior choice from his disgusting protege Charles Manson, think about that again. What did Charles Manson do? Blab a bunch of pathetic delusions. And what did his sycophants go and do at his behest? Go and commit unthinkable criminal activity, which everyone knows exactly what happened. So imagine that Charles Manson didn't order child aggravated abuse to take place at an industrial size scale at an unthinkable rate. What makes you, Mike Rinder, what makes you, John Atack, what makes every last other shred of L. Ron Hubbard protege better than a Charles Manson protege? Because if y'all landed in jail, convicted of the crimes y'all have committed, which in this case have much to do, have everything to do with what y'all normalize at an industrial size scale be done to underage kids who could not consent. Well, you go and do the literal research and see who's even lower than a murderer in jail, who's at most risk, who's the bottom of the barrel criminal. Since y'all did commit crimes on underage kids, we're talking babies, we're talking 5-year-olds, we're talking 8-year-olds, we're talking 9-year-olds, we're talking 11-year-olds, we're talking 12-year-olds, we're talking 15-year-olds, we're talking 18-year-olds. Industrial size scale is the magnitude of the criminal acts that were perpetrated on all kids that were acquired in a conspiracy of child traffickers racketeering their way to commoditizing and making pawns out of kids that have no shred of a literal clue what in the literal hell these proteges of L. Ron Hubbard, of a convicted felon, the literal opinion leader of Charles Manson. So let it really sink in for all of you who really want to come and say, oh, but the Scientologists are so much better than Charles Manson. So compare the crimes that Charles Manson's proteges got away with committing on underage kids, and then compare the crimes to Mike Rinder, Debbie Cook, Angie Blankenship, Supi Gentry, Angie Trent, all of these grown-ass adults that were recruiting children to be ensnared in a scheme that was very helter-skelter of them to be involved in. Because what L. Ron Hubbard said, helter-skelter, L. Ron Hubbard said, we really need to save our world, go and enslave a bunch of kids, and let's all really save our world. So it really is time to come down from the delusion of grandeur that these people were, of all things, saving a world by following the rhetoric of a convicted, indicted felon that is pitching in his literal rhetoric that children can be and should be abused and turned into fair game for all adults to have their way with full unfeathered access, with parents that are fully kneecapped and have, for all intents and purposes, sacrificed their own kids in an attempt to curry favors inside of the disgusting hotels where, yes, you guessed it, Mike Rinder, Marty Rathbun, and David Miscavige went begging the IRS to give them a 501c3 status because they calculated if we get a 501c3 status, then the police departments will never come around and check what in the literal hell we are doing with underage children inside of the disgusting hotels.
His deep involvement with Scientology. They really didn't want people to know. And there's also the operation where they sought to persuade the world that he'd been involved in the Process Church of the Final Judgment, the Grimston, a splinter group of Scientology. He may well have had contact with that group. Nobody that, I've spent a year researching it. I've not seen any direct statement that he did. But
so imagine you, John Atack, big researcher that you are, big Scientologist that you were. Imagine you didn't research a shred of thing involving the systemic, institutionalized abuse.
You know what? We have a regular on this show, and every single week he performs a brand new minute. He doesn't get pulled out of the bucket. He's the current regular. Very, very funny man. Everybody loves him. Everybody knows him. Make some noise for the great and powerful William Montgomery, everyone.
I'm crazy for
Shout out to Malcolm Hatchett, former regular in the back of the room right now. There he is back there. Hell yeah. Come on, one more time for William, everyone. Make some noise.
So I was recently diagnosed with a disease called turtle dysmorphia. I knew I had it when I was in the bathroom and I saw my reflection and it was just a turtle's head.
Who all we got? Vote for Mike Huckabee.
So when you get home, just breathe into a paper sack and drink a glass of Tang. That is the doctor that gives really bad advice. But seriously, after the joke battle last week that I lost, I got really drunk. I ate some mushrooms. I got in my car, and I slammed into a bunch of people and hurt my neck really bad.
William Montgomery, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. I mean, I just fall in love with you more and more every single fucking week. And somehow every week you age 3 years. I don't know what exactly is happening. You're turning into your grandfather, William. You did it again. Another very funny minute. I love your impression first, explanation later. One of my favorite things in comedy. You and Steve Lee had a fucking Mexican standoff here last week.
I know that really killed me when the audience was clapping way louder for him. When he told that joke, I knew I was done for.
Yeah, so did
That was
I.
a good joke. I knew. Yeah.
Should have won the neck brace last week, fool.
Yeah.
Disabled against disabled.
Who said that?
I said that. That was me right here, William.
Wow. So William, you got the neck brace on. We love that here. We love the neck brace. It comes out every once in a while. It's one of our favorite things. How long you been wearing that today?
God, it's been 5 days I've been wearing it. I was in Bethesda, Maryland, 5 days ago at their mall. They have a really nice mall, and I decided to run down the escalator. I ended up tripping towards the top. I took a really bad spill. I ended up landing on my arm and my neck at the bottom.
And then you put that on.
What?
You had that with you? You took it with you to Bethesda?
I did. I'm a big klutz. I was worried something like that might happen, and weirdly enough, it did.
To think that you survived that, yet that one kid's mom died from a fall is just incredible. You know what I mean?
I noticed you've been wearing shorts a lot lately and flip-flops. Is that something that you've always done your whole life? Like, are you one of those guys that, like, when it's 20 degrees, that's, wearing the shorts? One of those guys?
And let me also throw in the fact
he's trying to get his freckles to blend so he could be a black man on the cover.
And I am a staunch old school believer in no shorts and no flip-flops on the stage. And I've seen, thousands of comedians try it, and every time I think to myself, that's a huge mistake. But again, William, there's something about you. I think you can pull the fucking shit off. You literally, you look like an angry single father that has custody of the kids for the weekend. He doesn't really want the kids, but he's
These are my kids! Yeah, hold on. Where in the fuck is Larry?
Who's Larry?
Just my child. Just if he were to go in the house. Hold on, where the fuck is Larry? He's my kid! Where the fuck is he?
Keep going, William. Keep going. Come on, get
I've
your
been
kid.
looking for him for 2 weeks! I can't find him!
You see how much he turns his head while wearing the neck brace? Incredible.
I know that shit is some bullshit.
Has your troll backed off you lately, or any updates on your troll?
Yeah, what was that guy?
Don't repeat this. I have a distant cousin, really good at physics, really good at bomb making. And I was able to find out where Franklin Dracula lived. Really weird name. His name was Franklin Dracula. But yeah, I found out where Franklin lived, and my relatives sent him a pipe bomb. Sadly enough, his kid went to the mailbox first. I'm kidding. I just saw Butterfly Effect. I messed that up.
What the fuck was that?
That's a good movie, dog.
I'm sorry. This is really bothering me because I've been trying to watch TV lately, and I've been watching this Lemony Snicket series of unfortunate events, and I feel like you a knockoff redhead version of Neil Patrick Harris's character. I feel like you still foster kids.
Where the fuck is Larry?
Just walking into the foster home. Hold on.
Any updates on the storage unit? You work at a storage unit.
He don't have no ass. It's just all straight back. Like
he pushes it into his stomach.
He might be a conehead, y'all.
I'm actually a
He
swimmer.
might not have no ass crack. I don't think.
I'm actually a swimmer. That's why I have such a tight body right now.
But your whole back, it's not even an indentation in your back. Only, like you don't have no ass at all.
It really is flat. Why don't you show the audience? Why don't you pull a little reverse Aphrodite and show the audience the...
I feel like...
No ifs, ands, or buts there, William.
I feel like you got a stomach just to balance out that you have no
That's
ass.
actually where his butt is. Those are his butt cheeks right there.
He shits out his belly button. I knew he was an alien. I'm sorry, I'm tipsy.
William, you know I'm a huge fan of you. I've loved you ever since you were the bad guy in Billy Madison.
Do he have a nose job?
What?
Yeah, I did. Like a year
You got
ago.
your nose did?
Have you had a nose?
So little. I never seen no nose that little, except for.
Yeah, me neither.
Jeremiah. Thanks.
I feel like you can't breathe.
Do you have trouble breathing? Does the sleep apnea match the drapes? Does the mask?
I do. I realize I have to sleep on my stomach. If I sleep on my back, I quit breathing throughout the night. I wear goggles. They start fogging up. I start perspiring a bunch when I can tell I'm not breathing. It turns into a big ordeal.
You're like the perfect cellmate, dude.
All right, William. Well, you did it
William?
again. You knocked out another killer minute. Tiffany?
I'm proud of you, William. I look
you. It's
forward.
nice to see you again.
I look forward to working with you one day and asking you more questions about your hair.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm gonna ask you a lot of personal questions that you're not gonna want to answer.
Only at the Comedy Store.
I don't want to touch it. I want to grow it.
You go to forhims.com/KillTony.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going bald. It is a.
But I can save you from that.
Baby, don't go bald. Remember that?
Yeah, with the monostat, mix that together.
Oh yeah.
But I just want to sit on his head. I feel like if I put my pussy on his scalp.
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh my God.
If I do a snail trail on the top of your head, I feel like it'll grow
I
back.
have a receding hairline too, just so you know. All right.
Your hairline just needs some nutrients.
William, would you ever let that happen? Would you let Tiffany sit on your head, or as we call it, breakfast at Tiffany's?
You see, you look at.
Just at the Motel 8. Remember we met there on Craigslist?
I never met you at nobody's motel. Let's keep it 100. I met you in the back of the Geo Metro.
Hey.
You're not worth a motel.
I'm ready for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Tiffany's. How about that?
All right.
Hell nah, Red Band.
Okay. I love, wait, can I just say, I love William and Tiffany's chemistry. Only at the Comedy Store do you see this much black and red getting along.
Black and
it's
red,
really
black
making
and
you
red.
Sing it all together. There he goes, William Montgomery, everybody. Modern day icon. A new minute from the great William Montgomery, everyone. Here he comes. Here he comes. A monster. The Brock Lesnar of Kill Tony, William Montgomery.
So I'm pretty excited. I recently found out I'm related to the 27th President of the United States of America, the man that got us into Vietnam, the man that got us out of the gold standard, the man that discovered the vaccine for rabies. I'm talking about Ralph Martinez. So I've been playing a bunch of the board game Guess Who recently, and weirdly enough, I've discovered the two best questions to ask are what's your AOL password and is your aunt black? So who is this, Steely Dan or Lil Boosie? That is the Curious Music Critic. But seriously, Ralph Martinez got us into Vietnam. He got us off the gold standard.
William motherfucking Montgomery. William, you did it again. I did not know that Ralph Martinez was the 27th President of the United States of America. Did I miss something there?
He was, yeah, it was.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I believe you.
In the late 1950s, Crazy Ralph Martinez, they called him. He was from Wisconsin. Had a pretty crazy platform. He was against people learning how to read. He was for people investing in their own McDonald's. He was a McDonald's magnate.
Ah.
Franchiser?
The 27th president of the United
No,
States.
I was a history major. He's right. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. Martinez, the McDonald's magnate, they used to call him. William, why do you look like you got kicked out of the Masters golf tournament and smoked pot for the first time while in the parking lot?
Well, weirdly enough, I was with my buddy Cade Wallace in his 01 green Tahoe. We decided to try out salvia for the first time.